So as you guys can see the title, I have been an atheist for over 10 years now. Yes, it's true. It's very, very true. Welcome back to my channel. This is a lifestyle type video today where I'm sitting in front of the camera like I have in the past. But this is a little bit more in depth about me. So you're getting to really know more about me if you haven't learned anything about me in the past year or so. But yeah, I am an atheist. So I did a lot of thought about this video before I did it. It took me a while to even get to this point to muster the courage to make this video. But I was gonna make it, it was gonna come out last year, but the things didn't line up. In other words, I was part of this podcast where we talked about atheism and theists. We had a panel of people from Cousins Corner. Well, Cousins Corner was the podcast, and we had a panel of people. I was invited, and we talked about some stuff. They were going to air it, but they haven't. So I was like, I'm not going to keep waiting. I wanted to wait for them to reveal it so I could give it to you guys firsthand, and then you could get a better explanation of how I came to where I came to. But it's not even a point of how I came to where I came to. It's just the fact that, you know, I have been more so, as the scriptures call, lukewarm over the past few years. Not more recently, but more so around the time when I had, you know, got out my parents' house and stuff like that. I knew that I didn't really believe in a God, but I wanted to hold on to the culture that I had learned as a child and early teenager. You know, because I was highly involved with the church, Christian church. So I come from a Christian background, FYI, and I would be what was called lukewarm. But in reality, there's no in between when it comes to being an atheist or a theist. You can't say that there's a middle ground. You'll have a lot of people that say that they're agnostic, but agnosticism deals with knowledge or the lack thereof. Gnosticism deals with knowledge. Agnostics deal with no knowledge, or, you know. But anyway, I don't hold the premise that there is no God. First of all, the gods of the Abrahamic religions, as we call it, and most other gods, they're unfalsifiable. So what that means that you can't disprove, or you could prove that these people exist or these deities exist. So it's a losing situation when you try to argue the evidence or the lack thereof of there being a God. So what really happens when you get into these debates and stuff is that you have people who uses you know, skepticism, reasonings, stuff like that, and they sometimes, you know, make fallacious arguments. Some people make good arguments and stuff like that. But yeah, I try not to really get into debates and stuff like that, because like the gods that people believe in, they're unfalsifiable. So why try to argue against someone who already can't prove that their God exists, and I can't prove that their God doesn't exist, you know? So you guys, I met a lot of people recently and on that panel that will say that they're not religious, but they're spiritual. And I have a big gripe with those people, because I can respect a Christian or a Muslim, for instance, because they have the Quran, they have the Holy Bible to fall back on, and to, you know, have a set rule of things and stuff, and they actually have a deity, a name for it. You know, when you talk to these people like this, you know, they pretty much take parts of the religion that they grew up on, and then they make their own religion or their own belief system, if that makes any sense, their own God. And I have a gripe with them, because like, how can what you believe in convince me that there is a God? Hey, I want to know. I really want to, you know, if there's a such thing as a heaven, such thing as a hell, if my salvation is on the line, I want to know what you know, the secret to getting to your heaven or to heaven, you know? And you have those people that believe that, they believe that, it's, they believe in a little bit of everything, and there's several ways to get to heaven. See, this is the Christian in me that's talking. See, it's so intertwined. It's very hard to break free of the religious strongholds that you've had, because in reality you've been indoctrinated. I was indoctrinated as a kid. It might not have been like being part of a cult like the Jehovah's Witnesses or whatever, but I was indoctrinated for a long time, and it's very hard for you to break free from stuff like that. But I am a strong-willed person, so I attribute that to that. But I'm gonna get into the catalyst that started my journey to atheism, if that makes any sense. Which is not really a journey, because you either believe, you're either convinced or you're not convinced. So I can't just say, okay, we're in this empty room right now, and to my right there's a pink elephant right beside me right now. You believe that? Are you convinced of that? See, that's how belief works. You know what I'm saying? You either, it's not like something that you can really choose to do. At least I don't think so. I'm not convinced that you can choose to believe in something that's, whether it's real or not real. You can't just like choose your belief, if that makes any sense. So as I was saying, I was lukewarm at first. So I was kind of like on the fence, but at the same time I realized I didn't believe. But the catalyst that started my non-belief, or not being convinced of the Christian God in particular, was a time back in 2012. So it was 10 years ago. I was 18 at the time. I was a church musician. I played for the youth choir, and we had this nice rehearsal. As the Christians would say, the Holy Ghost had moved, and we had a really good time. And then it was this woman that was in the church. She was there. She wanted to pray over me, and she said that God had said something to her, or had a message for me through her, or something like around those lines. And I didn't hear that message. I was, slain in the spirit. I was, I had the spirit of discernment too, as they call it. And I didn't hear a word from God. And I really viewed her as being, like a false prophet. And I told her, she said something like, God had a message for you or something. Can I pray for you? I mean, that's relatively harmless, right? But as a Christian, you realize that, you believe in the spirit realm and stuff like that. You don't want everybody praying for you, because they could be, secretly praying for your downfall, or even trying to cast a spell on you or whatever. And that's another thing with Christianity. You couldn't be your authentic self. It's so much more. I look at some of the African cultures, West African cultures, the way they live and stuff like that has been demonized by the colonizers, and they have a way where they're connected to nature. What I'm saying? They speak to the ancestors and stuff, but that's technically considered necromancy in Christianity, where you try to communicate with the dead and stuff like that. But anyway, I'm digressing too far. But yeah, that started the catalyst, because I didn't hear what she said God had said, and I'm like, what am I doing wrong? We just had this wonderful time in the Spirit and the Lord. The Holy Ghost had moved, and I didn't hear that. So it just that was the catalyst there. I can say that. And then later on that year, I moved to a different area near DC, and I was exposed to so many different cultures and people with different religions, and it made me question. I was like, how can I know that the belief system, or the God that I solely was convinced of at the time, well, I wasn't really convinced of him then, but the God that I grew up learning about, Yahweh, Jesus Christ, how could I know that he is the one and true living God, when you have these other people that believe in other gods like Allah, Buddha, Confucius, Ram, Hindu, so that really opened my eyes and made me really start thinking, And I did some hard soul searching. I was like, my salvation is on the line. I shouldn't question. And that's one thing too. You're taught to not question. It's a reason. Why can't you question if your salvation is on the line? You know what I'm saying? And people use this as like, this is just like a playground, for a rehearsal for the real deal when you get to heaven. But no, you want to be the best person you can be now and stuff. So anyway, I'm digressing and stuff, but it's just, when I think about it, it was so much that was going on, and I'm glad that I was exposed, like I was exposed to really question and be outside an echo chamber that I was in so long, for so long. So yeah, that's pretty much it. I could go on and on about this. I'm probably gonna do a part two. I may do a part two for this video, depending upon what type of feedback I get. And yeah, that's pretty much it. I'm not convinced that there is a God. Um, so I'm not a Satan or devil worshiper or whatever like that. Which I don't have to explain myself, but like that means I don't believe in the devil, no angels. It's good to fantasize about stuff like that, but I'm not going to even get into the reasons why some people believe. I'm just telling my story. And like I say, maybe if I do a part two, I might do something else like that. It might branch off to stuff like this. But it's a large community out here of atheists, and more people than not are, they don't really believe, or they have their own version of their God and whatnot. So I don't feel bad, I don't at all. I'm content with life. If you follow me on social medias, you wouldn't probably tell. You probably thinking I'm living my best life, which I am. Thinking it's attributed by God or a God, but I contribute all my successes through hard work and determination, and being a good person. I don't need a deity to be a good person. I'm just naturally a good person, have a good heart. So yeah, that's it. Hope you enjoyed this video. Please like, share, and subscribe.